Good morning and welcome to my weekly assemblies. I do hope you're all staying safe and well. The theme this week, there is an important message in here, but I think during such difficult times it's also good to have a bit of fun. So bear with us on some of the satire we've included in this week's assembly. This last week seems to have gone on and on. We've been faced with a lot of news around the potential reopening of schools. And we look forward to seeing what the detail is going to be like about that. But we are working hard on putting something together to try and implement a phased return. The theme for this week, which is quite pertinent to where we are, is about looking into the past and also looking forward and using the past to make you a better person. Perhaps learning from the past and to look forward, using hope and strength as powerful gifts to create a new future. And that leads nicely into some of the questions I am going to respond to now, which have been sent in by some of the pupils at Kirkham Grammar School. The first person is Johnny Latham at Lower 6.
Hello sir, hope you're doing okay with the lockdown. I was just wondering what you're missing most about what life was like before lockdown.
Very good question, Johnny. The first obvious one I do miss, and I say this with all sincerity, is the people in the buildings. I have mentioned this previously, but I really do miss the pupils. No matter when you're having a bad day or facing challenges, the pupils are always the ones who lift your spirits and remind you why we're here. I miss the hustle and bustle of the daily school life, the assemblies, CCF, teaching lessons, meeting staff, meeting parents, meeting pupils. It's just not the same. It's a big part of my life at school, as are the routines and the people that go through it. And I'm really missing that during lockdown. And just like you, I'm missing the small freedoms in life. Going to a restaurant, being able to go out and chat and meet friends and family. All of those restrictions are not the same, and they're things that we miss, and I'm hopeful sometime soon we'll be returned back to some normality. Thank you. Next question.
Good morning, Mr. Berry. It's Isabella from 1W. The question I would like to ask is, for all the negativity, uncertainty and sadness that has happened in this current situation, what positives do you think have come out of it? Thank you.
Thank you, Isabella. Another good question. What positives have come out of this? Well, for example, in where I live, I now know my neighbours much more. We gather every Thursday for the applaud to the NHS, and I now know most people's names within the next two houses, which I didn't previously. There seems a real community spirit, which I feel was not there before. It's nice, and I think being in a situation where we've all been facing such challenges, it does bring you all together. The chap next door I now know is called Alan, and I get him his milk once a week, so just doing little things like that, which I never did before, have changed life for the better. So during this negativity, I think there has been lots of positives, and anecdotally, and this is not about me, but it's something I witnessed in a store recently. There was an NHS worker who was in the queue paying for their weekly shop, and the gentleman behind her stepped forward and paid for it. Now it was only, I think, about £40, but the actual gesture, I think, just shows how much things have changed for the better. So thank you, Isabella, for that question. Next question, please.
Hi sir, I'm just wondering, are we going to be doing any rugby in September?
Very good question, Luke, and it was nice to see that you managed to get yourself into the tower. I'm not sure how you pulled that one off. Rugby and sport and activities in general, I know it's such a big part of school life at KGS, and I do hope that we return to some normality where sport and all the co-curricular aspects can continue. At the moment, we do not know. There may be some restrictions on perhaps contact sports, there may not. I know that Mr. Trent and his team are already planning the fixtures, they're already planning pre-season, they're planning training, and perhaps the season may go on for a longer period and finish later so we can squeeze all the fixtures and games in. But I know for sure it will come back. At the moment I don't know when, but we definitely will have the co-curricular aspects of school life back. Thank you.
Hi Mr. Berry and everyone, hope you're all well. My question is, when we return back to school, will there be anything new and exciting happening? And will we still be able to do the whole school photograph we have every 4 years? Thank you, stay safe.
Thank you, Olivia. Yes, there will be a number of changes to return back to. We will be welcoming a new head of English and a new physics teacher. We are going to make some changes to the school day, some subtle changes to catch up with some of the lost learning over the past weeks. Being in the sixth form common room, we are going to extend this facility because it is full to capacity currently, and we will be making some changes to the school buildings and site over the weeks. So we will be making a number of changes to welcome you all back in September. And the whole school photograph was timetabled in for April. We have rescheduled that for September, so we will definitely be doing our whole school photographs, don't you worry. Thank you.
Hello Mr. Berry. My question for you is, what do you think lockdown has shown best about KGS?
Thank you, Thomas. The lockdown for KGS has really demonstrated the family ethos. It's shone throughout the periods of lockdown, and the support from the parents, staff and pupils has been amazing. I've never seen anything like it. I think it's definitely brought us together as a school, although we were always very close because the family ethos is something that we are very proud of. But I think it's brought us all together even more so, having to face such a challenge in our lifetime. And I know when we come back, we will appreciate everything that we possibly take for granted on a daily basis. And I know again, the young people and the parents who support us will appreciate everything the school does and will continue to do. Thank you.
As a fourth former, I would like to ask the headmaster what his opinion is on how the COVID-19 situation may affect our GCSEs next year in 2021.
Thank you, Holly. That is so important to remember that we do have a number of pupils who are going through GCSEs and A-levels, and we need to ensure that when we do return, they have the opportunity to catch up on any lost learning. The new structures for school year will enable that to happen, and knowing the staff too well, they will go above and beyond to make sure we top up anything we've lost over the past months. And beyond that, looking at perhaps the examining bodies and the people who decide on grades and grade boundaries and the decision makers for examinations, they will need to consider how this has impacted on you in the fourth year and especially the lower six going forward. And I do feel strongly that some considerations will be needed on that.
Hi sir, just wondering, are the A-level choices we chose set in stone, and is there going to be a fifth year prom?
Thank you, Theo. Yes, let's start with the first question. The A-level choices are not fixed. We offer ultimate flexibility in option blocks at A-level, and if you have changed your mind over the last few weeks, we can change those, so do not worry. The fifth year prom party, a good question. I did not spend most Saturdays between January and March hunting down the perfect dress, going around every dress shop in the northwest, and even being offered the chance to try one on, which was slightly unusual. I didn't do that for nothing, so once we do return, we will need to have some kind of winter ball celebration of our fifth year pupils, and the same for the upper six. We do need to do something because the way we finished is not acceptable and not the way we wanted to do it. So we will revisit that when we get the opportunity.
My question is, when we look at coming out to
was very hard to hear that, Margaret, around when we return to school. It will potentially be different, and we're already focusing on how that will look from June the 1st and how we bring back some of the younger year groups and support the 4th and 6th formers. I would hope for some normality to return in September, but between now and then we will follow the government advice and guidance. We will do risk assessments and make sure whatever we do, what's placed at the top of that list of priorities is the safety of the pupils and staff, and then we'll make decisions to return as a gradual, as that gradually evolves. So thank you, Margaret.
Hello sir, obviously during lockdown we've all not been able to do the activities that we used to doing in school. However, will CCF activities be allowed to resume in September with social distancing as they are mostly outdoors? Thank you.
Thank you, Ruben. Yes, CCF and as mentioned previously, the co-curricular activities. We do hope that they can return to some level of normality. There may still be some restrictions, who knows. CCF does seem to be the one activity where we can put in place social distancing across a number of the activities we undertake. From paintballing, where we can keep 2 metre distances, to the drills on the quad. And I'd probably say most of the activities we undertake could keep within the 2 metre distance rules and allow some social distancing if needed. But yes, Ruben, CCF will be back on. How could I miss my Thursday afternoons running the paintballing? I think that is all the questions, which it was lovely to hear and so powerful seeing the pupils again and so nice to see them. I really do appreciate personally all your messages of support. They fill me with hope, and I pray that we can be back to some normality very soon. Finally, this week's house challenge will be based on a tour of the school, and you must guess which classrooms are shown. Thank you.